if someone was wanting to get started on online ads, right, and are already doing outbound right now, like what does that like process look like? Like,
Yep. Yeah, dude, the biggest thing for me first, so if you guys are already doing offline marketing, if you're doing radio, TV, direct mail, cold calling, in anything at all, if you're already doing something to generate leads, dude, the biggest thing I always want to have people focus on first is how do I amplify and make that marketing work better? And I'll give you an example. So there's a client of ours, Carter Steff. He's one of the top home buyers in America, biggest home buyer in Oklahoma City. Now he's in multiple different markets as well. Our company's called 1-800-2-SELL-HOMES. So Carter was doing tons of radio, tons of TV, and some direct mail. And they were generating a lot of inbound searches just from their offline marketing. So guys, when you're doing any offline marketing, once again, radio, TV, direct mail, cold calling, all that, people are going to pick up their phone or they're going to pick up their computer and then do a Google search, right? They're going to Google search your company name that was in that advertisement or that direct mail piece, your phone numbers oftentimes that are in there. If you are the advertisement, like some of our clients, they're the personal brand, they'll Google your company or they'll Google your name, whatever's identifiable on that marketing piece, direct mail, radio, TV, anything. Even cold calling, people will literally take that phone number that keeps calling them and they'll Google a phone number and say like, who the heck is this that keeps calling me? Because everyone's suspect today. They're curious in what's going on and wondering if people are legit who are calling them. And so that's the first thing, man, is look at the marketing that we're doing and then ask ourselves. So that's the first thing, man, is if you're doing offline marketing, look at whatever marketing you're doing and write down what is your marketing identifying about your business. Are there phone numbers? Are you using your company name? Is it your name? And then go to Google and search those phrases up. Okay. If it's a phone number, like a tracking phone number from Callfire, that's one thing that a lot of people miss. And if you're doing any volume of direct mail and you have a phone number on there, let's say it's a Callfire tracking phone number so you can see what direct mail pieces are working, Google search those phone numbers because your prospects oftentimes are going to do those Google searches. And if it's a tracking phone number, what's usually going to show up in Google is probably not your website because most people aren't putting their tracking phone numbers on their website. It's probably going to say like scamcall.com, whocalledme.com. And if people search that, they're going to go, man, is this company a scam? So that's the first thing. Take all those identifiable things and then ask yourself, if I'm investing all this money into my offline marketing and tapping people on the shoulders and seeing if they want to sell, how many of them are going online to research me? And if I don't have a website, how many deals am I losing because of that? And if your average profit per deal, let's just say it's $20,000, how many $20,000 deals are you likely losing every single year? Because when people search you from your offline marketing, they either can't find you or they don't find things that help you stand out as a trusted, credible source. So that's number one. And dude, with Carter, going back to his story, and I'll toss over to you, is he discovered he had a website. It was a pretty website. It's a custom website. People would look at it and think it looked great. By adjusting some of the things on the website, and we can talk about it in this call, he added over $20,000 a month in extra income from the leads he was already getting, from the traffic he was already getting. Like, he didn't add a new traffic source. He didn't start Google AdWords. He didn't start SEO. It was all from his radio, TV, and direct mail, where people were picking up their phones and doing a Google search. And we made his website work better, converted better, built more trust, added $20,000 a month in extra income and closed deals. So that's the first thing that I would start on. Make it your authority hub online to close more of your offline deals.
Dude, it's so crazy that like one of the biggest questions I get when we have users that are asking like, okay, well, I want to start with Carrot, but or like I want to start an online in general, but like, what do I got to do? Like, I can't, like, I set it up. Do I have to start paying for Facebook? Do I have to start doing this? I'm like, no, like my story with when I started using Carrot is one of the big first things I did in my business. Actually, the first thing I did in my business, because I have a background in development, I built my own and was trying to build something. And I spent endless nights, probably about 3 months or so, building this website. And then turned out Carrot already existed, and the time that I spent was ridiculous. And then I got Carrot, and I just went through the steps. When you log into Carrot, when you have it, there's like 5 steps or whatever to do it, and they have a whole new playbook thing, which is super awesome. And I just followed the steps, did backlinks, did this. But I posted on Craigslist, like they said. I did, my Google My Business, and I made a Facebook page and all the things to have to where when people search me, they could find me, right? And one of those leads came in from Craigslist, and I made $30K in my first 2 weeks of having Carrot, which I then reinvested back into my Carrot, right? And I've just done that consistently over time. And now it's at the point, I think we generate something like 20 leads right now or so. I think last week was like 20 leads from Carrot or something like that,
Yep.
And so, but the reason I wanted to mention that is just from the beginning is people don't understand what they want to do because they don't understand how to get the traffic there. But it's very simple.
Yep.
The same way that you would post on your Facebook, tell them, hey, I'm looking to buy a house. Now you have the authority to say, hey, I'm looking to buy houses. Here's my website. Send anybody here that you might know. And quite literally, the example that you just gave, we have a deal, and I was trying to bring it up here on my REISift account so I could show people that I'm not just BSing. I find that some people think like in these kind of situations, like, oh, he's just saying that because he's here. And it's not even true. Like if I go to my closed deals right now, we have a deal right now that is the exact scenario you just gave because of the authority. They Google searched and they was looking for somebody to buy their house. It's in Archer, Florida. The address is 1435 Southwest 130th Avenue, Archer, Florida. You look it up. Florida Cash Real Estate owns it. Okay. And what happened is they Google searched to find someone to buy their home. Florida Cash Real Estate showed up, and we had a local number to where they moved to as their location. Okay. And so they're like, oh, hey, like that's a local business. Everybody else had 1-800 numbers, they're like, oh, I don't want to deal with them. I want someone local. They went to our website and they seen that, the reviews and everything that was there. And they ended up, going with us because of that. But that's a $60,000 flip. I didn't have to do anything to sell this person. It came in through Carrot, which ended up in REISift, which notified me of a task, right? I seen the task was there. I seen the phone number was there. So I just copied it and texted it from my phone because we don't have an acquisitions person in the company right now. So what happens is my lead manager cases everything, and I'll just make the offer on the things that are easy, or so what I think are good deals. So I texted her, and in the show notes or whatever, we'll put the images of the text conversation. I just said, hey, what's going on? You just submitted your property. I'm interested in it. Can you give me some details? She gave me some details. And I just text her back. I'm like, so what are you looking to get out of the property? She let me know, because I found out there's a mortgage. She said $65,000 was the mortgage was. I said, how much are you looking to put in your pocket after everything's all said and done? She's like, I'd probably like to have around 10K in my pocket. I was like, fantastic. So you're saying if I give you $75,000 in the next 2 weeks, you would be ready to move forward. And she said, let me ask my husband. He said, yeah, fantastic. Right. And we closed that deal in 2 weeks, put 20K into it, and it's listed right now for $169,900. And so it literally the easiest sales I've ever had. And I could go on with examples of like the easiest, transactions came from those organic by just having me being available. Another scenario, and then we'll move on because I just think what you just said is so easy. You spend whatever Carrot costs a month, when someone asks a little bit, we'll cover that then. Whatever Carrot costs a month and whatever plan you're on, and then simply having a Facebook page and a Google stuff. We just have a deal. Actually, it's a deal I'm just helping on. My sister Hunter has a deal down in Tampa, and it's a friend referred it to her, whatever. It's a 30K spread on it. And he said, hey, well, I don't know what company you guys are because this is a hedge fund. I mean, they buy deals, right? And so it's a hedge fund, and they seen Hunter Austin on the contract, and they're like, well, are you really a real company? Can you actually execute this? And it was also listed by a realtor, so there's another little complications there. So I called him. I said, my website's floridacashrealestate.com. You'll see the referrals. You can go to my, and boom, that's my authority. They see I close deals. They see who I am. They see I'm Carrot, right? And so the authority aspect of it works not only with your buyers or your sellers, but also your buyers. And I've used it all the time. So just because some people are in here that I know and I see them commenting, it's that simple. So, so then what would you say, because this is the next thing I know people are saying, Trevor, okay, cool. I can get a Carrot website. I can get my Google, my business. I can get Facebook. I get all that, but I don't know, what else do I do? Do I have to what's next after that? Like, how much money do I really need to put into this engine for that's actually efficient? Because I know everyone, the biggest thing is it's a long-term game, right? Or how does it break down?
Yeah, dude, I'll kind of walk through, if I were to go into a new market like we did in Louisville earlier this year. Okay. So We went into market Louisville. We pulled our first deal out in 3 weeks, and we've done case studies on this. We've done videos on this. We're going to keep on doing it more. Now, can I say people are going to pull out their first deal in 3 weeks every time? No, right? That was with an amazing negotiator of Bo Hollis, who's my partner there in that market. He closes like no other, man. Like, he's one of the best closers, and he's an awesome dude. He does over 20 deals a month. So he was able to work it into his machine. So here's what I would do every single time. If I'm going to go into a new market, how to get my first deal out in 60 days, okay, using Carrot and using the internet. So the first thing is, I'm going to launch a website. We call them authority hubs here at Carrot, because if you just have a website, now anyone can get a website. You can get a website at Wix, at Weebly, at Squarespace. You can go launch a WordPress website yourself. A website is not enough these days. Okay, just having a website that has a form and says you buy houses, it's not enough. We need to stand out as far as with our credibility. We need to have content on there, like you were saying, that you can point people towards to show that you're a real person. And if you haven't done any deals, we can even show you guys later in this call how to build credibility and trust, even if you haven't done any deals yet, because that's always an objection that people have. Well, shoot, there's no way I can compete against these people if they're doing 20 deals a month and I haven't started. Well, I'll show you guys how to compete against those people today too. So launch a website. Get some credibility up there. We can show you some examples of it on today's call. It's really, really simple. And then I would start some sort of a paid ad campaign personally. Or if you're doing offline marketing like direct mail, I would just literally make it so at the start, it's making my direct mail work better. That's it. That's how I would start. Okay. So launch that puppy. If we're gonna talk online marketing now, so how to pull out a deal online marketing, not assuming that there's direct mail coming in, I'm going to go launch a Google Ads campaign first. And so this is what happened in the market of Louisville when we launched it there. It's happened in so many other markets when we've done it as well, or helped clients do it, is we launch an AdWords campaign. The budget that I set, Tyler, this is the most important part at the start, is setting a realistic budget. Okay, one of the biggest things I see that investors do and agents do is they look at their marketing budget from an emotional standpoint. They say, how much money do I have in my pocket that I want to quote unquote risk? And they set their marketing budget based off of emotion, not math. And so we always say, let's make sure, guys, we're following math, not emotion. And the really simple calculation I want you guys to do right now to look at your marketing, and this applies to offline marketing too, not just online, is write down what's your average profit per deal. Okay, we're just going to go with the number that's $20,000 for kind of easy math. So if your average profit per deal is $20,000, next, what I'm going to ask you is, well, cool, how many leads does it take you to get one of those deals? Okay, and this is where it gets interesting, because if you do different types of marketing, each one of those types of marketing is going to require a different amount of leads to get a deal because of the motivation in those types of prospects. Radio and TV tends to be about 1 in 50 to 1 in 60 leads into a deal. So you're probably going to have to get 40, 50, 60 phone calls from that radio and TV ad before a deal is closed oftentimes. Now, your market might be different. Your method might be different, but that's what we see on average. Direct mail done the traditional way, it's probably going to be 1 in 30 to 1 in 40 leads into a deal. Now, the way that Tyler teaches at REISift, their ratio is probably better than that, because they're actually diving into it in a more targeted way. If you're going to do Facebook ads for sellers, we see Facebook ads for sellers tends to be 1 in 15 to 1 in 30 leads turns into a deal. Okay. So, and then Google ads tends to be 1 in 10 to 1 in 15 leads turns into a deal. And then Google organic search, I don't know what's going on with my darn camera. Google organic search tends to be then about 1 in 5 to 1 in 15 leads, it turns into a deal. Okay. So I want you guys to write those down, because when you look at your marketing methods, you're going to require a different amount of leads to close a deal depending on how targeted and how motivated the prospects are in that channel. SEO and Google ads tend to be the most motivated, most targeted. So you're going to have your $20,000 profit per deal. Let's say it takes you 10 leads to turn into a deal using this online method. Okay. Then I'm going to ask you, well, how much money would you be willing to trade in marketing dollars to get that $20,000? I usually use a 25% number to start. You know, when I'm really cranking up a campaign, I usually see about a 10 to 1 return, an 8 to 1 return. So if I'm going to put in $1,000, or let's say my cost of a deal is $3,000, I'm going to want to usually get between $20,000 and $30,000 out of that $3,000. That's what we'll usually see. Okay. So you got a $20,000 profit deal. It takes me 10 leads to get into a deal. I'm going to say I'm going to put up to $5,000 to get that $20,000 deal, which is 25%. Now I take that 10 leads, divide it by the $5,000, and I say, well, how much can I pay for every lead then? And in that example, it's about $500 per lead. And you guys might look at that and go, dude, I would never pay $500 a lead, right? Why the heck would I pay $500 a lead when my buddy over here on this Facebook group is saying he's paying $35 a lead on Facebook? Well, you would pay $500 a lead for those leads because the math says you can. Because the math says if you paid up to $500 a lead, which you shouldn't have to pay anywhere near that, you might be paying $100 a lead. You might be paying $120 a lead, $220 a lead on Google Ads. But the math says you can spend up to $500. If you close 1 in every 10 into a deal that nets you $20,000, the math shows you can win. And I'll finish it with this, Tyler. So many people, you get caught up in that emotional budget and they say, I'm gonna put $1,000 into this and see if it works. But what if your math says that you should have put up to $5,000 into it before you ever stop? What if the market shows that the average cost per deal is $3,000 and you stopped at $1,000 or $1,500? We've seen so many clients who were ready to stop their ad campaign at $2,000 spent in. They're like, man, I've got 8 leads, but I haven't got a deal yet. I'm getting nervous. Guys, it literally might be the 12th lead that is your deal that nets you $30,000. And then the math rewrites itself. It's correct all of a sudden. So that's the first thing I would do, dude. I would launch a Google Ads campaign. People say it's expensive. It's not expensive. We're pulling predictably 10-to-1 returns out in Louisville right now. And tons of other clients are doing the same thing, tons of different markets. You have to follow math, not emotion with your budget though. Next, what I would do is I would then invest into the SEO over the long term, because that's going to take you 6, 8, 10, 12 months to get ranked really high in Google to get the consistency. So start in the short term in that first 90 days, getting a paid ad campaign going, using math, not emotion. Once you get that first deal done, put almost all of it back into your marketing budget. Don't go blow it on a fancy car or something like that. Go put almost all of it back into your marketing budget and then keep scaling things up.